Okay, so welcome back to another podcast. We are starting to get to the end of season 2 now, talking about our 5 objectives. So this one we're going to talk about today with Lee and Neil is one of our kind of first objectives that we haven't really brought up yet. It's to do with the videos and the content creation and also the image captioning we've talked about, but the video version of that. So Lee, whenever you started at Baskets Galore, if you want to tell us a bit kind of the video assets that you were presented with when you came in and what you kind of thought, what your feelings were at that point.
Yeah, so the biggest thing sort of when I started asset-wise was definitely the iCloud library. So there's 28,000 images, but 8,000 videos or so. Mm-hmm. So having that library was a great asset to start off with, just being able to have everything you need on hand, different styles of videos, all the different regulatory categories as well that you have stuff for. So if I was doing Christmas promo video, there's loads of Christmas stuff there. I can just jump in and get it. Yeah. And the image library as well. Having all those to potentially use as videos in the future as well is just a really good asset. And then the other side of that as well was the YouTube channel. So there's about 15 years of content on there since 2009. So I was just able to look back as well and see as well what other video editors before me did.
And kind of get what everyone's been up to, and so you can
see what works well and what didn't maybe work well, and then use that to plan a strategy for the future as well for what's going forward.
And with the iCloud library being so big, obviously that's a great tool, great asset to have. But did you find it was really badly organized, quite well organized? What was the kind of
it could be better organized because scrolling through, if I'm doing a video, say again, use Christmas as an example because it's sort of the biggest thing. Yeah. Well, it's not too bad because you can go by year and month. Obviously, it's organized like that. So I can go like October time onwards to December and I know I'll get Christmas stuff. But yeah, it's such a big library that's unorganized. Nothing's labeled or categorized very well.
I'm sure Christmas is obviously easy to find because it's a month. Whereas if you're trying to find maybe a thank you or a birthday, it could be anywhere in there. Yeah,
because I've sort of went through it so many times as well. If I've seen a video or a photo, I'll then think to myself, right, I know where that is somewhere, but it takes me ages then to find it, obviously.
Yeah, so it definitely could have been a bit better organized. And then Neil, obviously you have been here for the years with the assets being made. So what's your kind of take on the quality of?
Well, it's very interesting because you've got right to the point, which is the time that it takes to consume to do that. But that is typical for a small business. Any SME is going to find exactly the same thing in terms of their stacks, their data base, their knowledge base or whatever. It's going to be maintained by a variety of individuals over a period of time. And the first thing that any human does when they come into a company is that they restructure it the way that they see things. So you have like progressive designers. I would say there maybe be half a dozen to 7 designers over a 20-year period of time, all structuring things. And we're only looking at the stuff post iCloud 2018. There's stuff on the shared server going back to 2002, 2003, which we're not even looking at this stage. We're just looking at stuff from 2018 onwards, really, in terms of that iCloud. So the structuring of that was what I wanted to do with Lee, move towards an element of the database, the knowledge base being better organized. For what would be what I saw as AI automation of video and images, because we've been doing this, we've been thinking about this for a couple of years, the iterations of ChatGPT through text and numbers to the point now whereby we're talking about images, videos, and a big factor, which is probably going to be surprising to people, is the amount of energy that these images and video generations create. The less that you have to turn text into an interpretation of video, it's far more cheaper, isn't it? It's like it goes down by a factor of 90% Yeah. Okay. So this idea of turning captions into images, it has to be reverse engineered over a period of time. And I think that's the stage that we are. A lot of small businesses and a lot of people are coming at it. They're sort of seeing, hey, this is the potential opportunity marketing wise. This is the potential opportunity promotional wise. Let's reverse engineer and go back. It's a lot of work, as you know, but it's designed to save consumption. It's designed to spend less electricity, water, sustainability, all of those types of things, which is not, it's sort of been alluded to in the media, but it's been sacrificed on the basis of creativity and imagination and innovation. Mm-hmm. What's going to be coming down the line is you want to have all your ducks lined up in terms of this structure organization, because then you're able to apply it at a magnitude of, which is dialed down in terms of cost by, I would say, 95%, 99% less cost as a result of doing the hard yards now. So that's what I wanted to do with Lee, is spend that 18 months of moving towards that and deploying the strategic balance sheet of the company to facilitate that at this moment in time. Yeah. Where are we on it? Mm-hmm. We're reaching the home front, I would mm-hmm. say. You know, we're almost there.
Yeah, brilliant. So, Lee, everyone's obviously going to have their own opinion on this, but what, in your opinion, do you think makes a good video?
So, for me, a good video, I keep going back to it needs to tell a story. Yeah. So, obviously, we're doing a video here. It'll have sort of a brief that I'm working to. So, mm-hmm. whether it's a Christmas promo, a birthday video promo, I'll be using that, and it needs to tell a story sort of from start to finish. And obviously that brings our formula into it, mm-hmm. That we've coded to sort of bring out the perfect video. Yeah. And then sort of other just basic things for a good video. Obviously, you know, needs to have good lighting, needs to be good quality and focus, mm-hmm. good composition. And then you can try and do like cool little transitions and stuff just to keep people sort of engaged in it is what you want as well.
And keep on engagement, that's what I was going to say. With the kind of telling a story and putting a story into it, would that be the main reason that, do you think that makes a good video, the engagement side of things?
So you're wanting to kind of keep someone engaged as long as possible. You know, people mm-hmm. don't really focus on videos as much as they probably used to, you know, with TikTok and stuff now. People have short attention spans, so you need to capture their attention within the first couple of seconds of a video starting. So if you can get like a cool little transition or a cool little intro, then I'll definitely keep people
piques their
interested.
Interest at the start, and then keeps them there along the way. And then Neil, what in your opinion, what's a good video in your opinion?
Well, you're going to like this because I'm going to be very short. It's a formula that reflects your brand values, and for timing, I would say that it needs to be less on your phone. I think it needs to scroll down as somebody comes to that page and scrolls down it. I think that you've got less than 3 seconds to tell people what it is about your brand that is going to encourage them to click something within that 3-second scroll. Mm-hmm. And so once they select something from in terms of how the human mind works, in terms of going down and saying, okay, there's a pattern that emerges here in terms of what I'm looking for. I think then that you've got 3 seconds to capture their attention. And then if they click anything onto it, you've got 7 seconds to engage them at that point into that this is relevance or I like this. That encourages them to go back and maybe look at other things that had originally attracted them there in the first instance. And I think that in terms of, old SEO and all that type of stuff, it is all engagement metrics now, and it's down to seconds and milliseconds. So a good video for me is something whereby the thumbnail, as somebody lands on your content, that there is enough thumbnails for them to say, this is relevant to what it is that I'm seeking. This is relevant to my search. And there are methods of communication there, which I'm curious about. Click. And once they click it, that within 7 seconds, they go, this works for me. I'm going to watch the rest of this. Yeah. And I think if you put too much, if they make the video too long, they're going to switch off. It has to be, I'd say, less than 30 seconds of a video, which is short form. Yeah. That's from a small business perspective in terms of the quality that you've got to be aiming at in terms of making a good video. Yeah. Would that be?
Yeah, no, I agree.
So it's all about first impressions, really. First impressions take the precedence. You need that to be strong or no one's going to stay. They're going to swipe away, definitely.
It's very, very difficult to do.
Mm-hmm.
The only way you can do it is that's the formula and have everybody working towards that formula. And you see that working in YouTube videos, don't you? You see the best content creators and they have a team around them, which is saying, can't say that, can say that, do this, do that. It's that regimented, it's that disciplined. And I think that we are bringing that to small business and e-commerce. And I think that a lot of, the big e-commerce players have used all of their resources in terms of trying to create databases and flows, whereas I think the smaller e-commerce companies are coming at it from a niche level, applying that sort of technique.
Yeah. So Lee, when someone, just the typical person, is creating a video, constructing a video, what would be the general kind of normal, typical process that they would go through?
Mm-hmm. So the sort of process I would follow and I would pass on to other people would be, obviously you'd start with a design brief. I mentioned that before in the first statement, but you'd have some sort of story you're looking to create, some purpose of the video. A goal for the video, whether to be capture sales or to promote something. And then the first sort of step I would do would source footage. So get sort of a library or a little folder of potential videos that can be used. And then I'll just start building it into some sort of a sequence of clips and see what works together, trim them and make then sort of your basic edits that needs to be done on them, stabilizing them, do things like color grading them just to make them look all sort of similar and nice.
Yeah.
And then you can add things like your captions that'll help transmit your sort of marketing message that you're trying to put across. And then sort of the last thing is your audio, whether it's going to have like this podcast, it's voices. So you want to make sure the voiceover is all clear, good quality. There's no background noise. That's too off-putting for someone watching, or if there's music in the background, have it that
kind of balance
just balance it out so that it's pleasurable for someone to watch and they're not swiping away because it's boring for them. Or
definitely again, first impressions, you need to kind of hit the mark first off. So when you or another videographer at Baskets Galore are creating a video, what is the kind of formula you would use and how does it then differ from just the typical person creating a video in a typical place?
So the formula we use comes from a mathematical sort of background, and I think the important thing about it is that it's codable as well. So going forward, obviously we can have this coded into the AI and stuff. So that'll help us in the future to sort of put the video together, and then we all be able to review it and just make sure that it's on the right path.
Okay. And the formula that you use, the way that you're saying it brings mathematics in, how did you kind of get to that point? Why was that brought in?
It goes back to that sort of 3-second rule that captures people's attention. So we keep the sort of 3 seconds, starting off of that, make sure that the message is put across in the first 3 seconds and follow that the whole way through. Each 3-second little clip will capture and convey a different part of the message.
So by using that 3 seconds, it's almost like after the 3 seconds, you're losing the attention span and then you're swapping.
So you have to give them something new to bring them back.
So Neil, obviously you were a big part in creating that formula. If you want to tell us your kind of thoughts behind it, what you were thinking, why you thought it would be a good way to bring that up, bring that into it.
Very straightforward. It's time and money. If you do not have a formula, then you cannot scale things. If you cannot scale things, you cannot automate things. And I'm looking at things through the prism of a small business, whereby you've got so many competing interests upon your budget. Yes, you can scale that up on your balance sheet to a certain amount, but if you look at all the how-tos and how to do things, and it tends to be based upon a subscription-based business model. So this is unusual because we're taking it and applying it to a product niche business, which I think brings extra relevance to anybody that's thinking of marketing their own product. I think all too often you think to yourself, create a product and then get somebody else to market it for you. I think do it yourself. You've got direct to consumer and people suggesting this, and you've got all of the tools to be able to do it yourself. Then the question comes into, how do you fulfill those orders? And that is I don't think that's an easy fix. I think that you are restricted by physical space and time to do those stuff. So that's the area that I'm focusing in at and bringing to the forefront is to the creation of formulas which allow a formulae, which allow the fulfillment of stuff, the logistics of stuff, all the nasty little things that people want to say, oh, well, that's not the part that I concern myself with. Those are the parts that I have a real interest in looking at, that logistical implementation and application. So I would apply formula from logistics into the marketing medium and, or the marketing and business medium, and say, this is what I want the creatives to do. This is what I want the code to do. And I would break it into that way of structure and organization. So, that's what I think my formula is based upon. It's based upon, predicated in logistics and mathematics, and applied, I would say, with a degree of creativity, because you need that with the creative industries, but to see it through the concept of mathematics, cost and future sustainability. That was my key objective. Have we achieved that? Well, what do you think, Lee?
I think we're getting there, definitely. We're on the right path. I think the good thing about the formula as well is we've coded our own voice into it. And that's going to go through the videos rather than us using, a third party sort of video creation app. It's going to not use our voice. It's going to go with a very generic sort of thing. So being able to put our own voice and our own sort of techniques that we know works
makes a big difference.
Yeah,
that's a very interesting point, and I'm glad you brought it up, because you can see even the difference in terms of us from going image caption generator to video caption generator, the addition of extra senses, taste, smell, feel, touch, in terms of the coding of it, which will make a big saving when it comes to storyboard, screenwriting of video, and being able to capture people's attentions in the periods of time, which is now mandated. It's not like really, oh, well, we can hope that people will give us some of their attention. People just don't have the time to give to you. If you cannot do it effectively and properly, we're all busy people, so you've got to be thinking along those lines. So adding extra senses to it makes a better story, doesn't it?
Yeah.
A thing that I think that you like, that sustainability aspect of stuff, the resonance. It's what it is to be human. We're just back from AI Summit in London. Yeah. We've seen all of the talk. We've seen the big brands, PwC, Deloitte, IBM, and they've all created these amazing content, AI models and whatever, but they kind of be very, I would say, soulless, and they're already out of date. So the ability for us to bring in emotion through video, and following that formula, I think allows us to have a sort of an advantage or a head start.
Differs us from the rest, definitely. Yeah. So what's the next stage then for Baskets Galore in the short term, say within the next kind of 3 weeks? What are we thinking?
Yeah. So in the next 3 weeks, I think we're hoping we have the training data for the image captioner completed. Yeah. And then that in turn will allow the video captions so sort of lean into that, and it'll be the really good foundations for the video captions, and that'll just, anyone creating videos then in the future, that's going to be a massive asset as well, because even now with the data that's already trained, I'm able to put that into smart folders in the cloud, and using the regulatory tags that are on stuff, I can sort of categorize stuff that way and find content a lot quicker, even just with images.
It's just so much easier for you. I'm sure you're coming across things that you've never really seen before, different clips, because there's so many, and without it being categorized, there's so much to miss. And then it's also kind of good in the sense, I'm sure you can see when things have been like double, tripled up, and you're just the same image 5 times taking up space, so you can kind of see, okay, we'll delete a few of them as well.
Yeah, that's definitely time saver.
Makes it easier. Jess, have you anything else to add on that?
Well, what's the next stage? Well, as I say, we've chosen 3 weeks. I'd say that I've chosen 3-week timeframes for the iterative deployment of stuff. Us as a business, a small business, these are all things that I think everybody would love to do, but they always say, look, I just don't have the time to do that, because small business, you are pulled all over the place. It's been the dynamic of it. Everybody's looking for you to make a decision on something. And I think that's the great advantage with AI, is to be able to say, well, you can code yourself, you can clone yourself, and you can create agents beyond that, which free up so much of that. And for us, the next 3 weeks, keeping it relevant to the objective, I would say that moving on, the captions of the image generator will feed into the video generator, of course, because you're able to basically add 2 additional JSONs. I think that's key. Mm-hmm. You're able to add the additions of the human touch, sense, feel, and then you're able to code the 6th element of it, which is resonance, what it is to be human with that video, which is different from a picture, isn't it? Because of the act of motion. It's how we're wired as humans. Yeah. Flight, fear, you notice things moving much more than a static type of image. So that is the movement on iteratively, is to take the completed image captions of static images, use that as the foundations of the video captions, because that's what a live picture essentially is, and then augment it with what it is to be human. Is that achievable in 3 weeks?
We'll find out.
I would like to be at a point whereby all of the videos have been selected over the past 7 years, broken into the 3 to 5 second bracket, and for them to have been run through our image caption generator and assess what it is coming out with. If we're at that stage, I'll be happy within 3 weeks, because the next 3 weeks can be the addition, bringing something new to it. And I think that's what video is so exciting, isn't it?
And at the end of the day, we are very, very close to that point. I know we've been saying that in the podcast, so hopefully it'll be done next week. But at this time, we are very, very close. We have the goal of next Friday to be when we are done with the captioning, done job, and hopefully it should be working, which can then domino effect into the video caption generator.
That's it. We've got 8 to 10 people basically creating JSONs to bring creativity to image and video. And I'm very keen to get different perspectives and different ways of looking at something, a complete diversity in terms of how the same image is seen by a variety of different people, because that's what it is to be human, isn't it? We don't all see the same thing. We see things completely differently. And doing it this way, I think that brings more variety and diversity to the storylines, and you can tell a story through different eyes, can't you? The story of Baskets Galore through my eyes is very different from the story through your eyes, but it's that entity exists there, and how we describe it is very important going ahead for agentic AI.
So I think that'll probably wrap us up then for today. So hopefully, again, as we like to say every time, the image caption generator will be done by next week, but I do believe 2 weeks time it should be.
We'll talk about the image caption generator next week, and the difficulties that we had with it, the problems that we had with it, and I don't think that's unusual. I think that's what I'd say.
Failure experimentation, very important.
Okay.
Jess, thank you.
Thank you very much. See you next week.